Hey guys, Henning and Morten from FlippedNormals, and in today's video we are doing a two-part series, so this is the first part of two, which is about the tool and not the tool. So in this video is going to be how to not be focused on which tool you're using, covering more fundamentals of what you should use, and overall how to get like the basics of, you know, whatever it is when it comes to becoming an artist, really. Some like skills that you can translate to any field, but really trying to drive home the point that it doesn't matter which tool that you use for the job, you can always get it done as long as you know the fundamentals.
Yeah, we see this so often with beginners and people who are new to 3D. They're always going about it with the mindset of, if I just had a slightly better tool, if I had a better brush, what brush do you guys use in ZBrush? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We see this so often with beginners, including myself. When I was brand new to 3D, I was going over the internet and really trying to find specific settings for the software.
Yeah.
I went crazy over hotkeys because I thought that would make me a better artist, and it didn't. It made me a faster artist, but I was shitty. So it made me
faster, shitty artist.
Exactly. It made me really fast at getting shitty stuff done.
But all that stuff, you know, eventually down the line definitely helps.
Absolutely.
But as you know, as your core should be in the fundamentals and not specifically about the tool. One thing that we talked about was I was following a tutorial from like Normal Workshop at one point, and it was like this comic book artist. I can't remember his name now. David Finch or something.
Something
like that.
Him, yeah.
And he was using this mechanical pencil. And so before I started the tutorial, I researched, I like looked at pictures from the video, right? And found the corresponding pencil or mechanical pencil on Google, and then found it on Amazon, and then ordered that instead of just, you know, grabbing one of the regular pencils I just had lying around. Because I thought, okay, if I have his exact mechanical pencil and the tool that he uses to sharpen his pencil with, that's what's going to make it for me.
Yeah, it turns out it wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't just have an amazing pencil.
The magical pencil that let him draw everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's also why whenever we are sharing our knowledge on FlippedNormals, we're not scared that somebody will take that and use that, and now we won't have a job anymore. Because the knowledge you have as an educator isn't your specific tool, or it's not, you know, that we can do Retopo, and if somebody can Retopo, they can take our job. It's really all in the fundamentals. It's because we've been studying the anatomy and we've been studying color theory and all these kind of things.
Yeah.
Which means that in order to replace somebody who has strong fundamentals, you need to have stronger fundamentals.
Yeah.
And you knowing our one weird trick for using hotkeys in ZBrush, I mean, that stuff is not going to take somebody's job away.
No, I had a conversation with my brother about this, just in terms of pure color theory, and so he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys should do a video on color theory," and we totally are. I mean, we're going to, because it's a subject that we love. But what I tried to explain to him was that, like, I have knowledge about color theory because, like, color, light, composition, because it's something that I've been doing for like the past 6 or 7 years. You know, I had a 2 or 3 year period that was purely focused on painting, and then I did a lot of photography. So combining those things, but because it's fundamentals, allows me to feedback and give critique on a wide variety of subjects. Like, it's not just because I was a character artist for film and, you know, working in ZBrush and stuff, doesn't mean that I'm only qualified to talk about stuff for characters. I can look at photography because of the fundamentals, and then give feedback on photography. What's the colors like? What's the lighting like? I'm not tied to a tool. Yeah, I would be able to paint over it in Photoshop, but I can also convey, just because of the fundamental knowledge, what you should change about your composition or something like that.
And this makes you incredibly valuable for, not just for big productions, but for any team and for anyone who wants to hire somebody. It means that if you can't do any more modeling because there isn't any more modeling work, maybe you can do lighting. That's what I've been doing a lot. My entire career, I've been doing a bunch of different things, such as modeling, texturing, concepting. I'm currently doing a bunch of lighting, because the fundamentals are, I mean, they're the same. I learned them years ago, but it means that I can be quite useful in a production, because I'm not just stuck in one place.
No.
When it comes to texturing, that's very much about color theory. And we're going to be making a whole series on that later on as well, like specific like skin texturing.
Yeah.
And it's really all the same. If I'm using Painter or if I'm using ZBrush where I learned those fundamentals, doesn't really matter.
No. Yeah, of course there's an argument for certain tools can speed up your workflow. Like if you were painting a skin texture in Paint,
yes.
Okay, maybe it could be done, but it's not about the tool, but it's still like focusing on the fundamentals. And I think I wouldn't say it's like a mistake that beginners do, because it's something that we all do, no matter what. When we start something new, the tangible thing is the physical stuff, or what we can touch and what we can see immediately. So a tool, whether it be a pencil, it's a camera, it's like a mouse or the tablet, whatever it is, you feel like, okay, it's something I can spend money on. Then if I spend more money, then that must mean that it's better, therefore I will be a better artist. And that's never the case.
Yeah. No, we see this all the time.
Yeah, I think we don't get it as much anymore, because I think we've talked a lot about it. But in the beginning of FlippedNormals, people would ask us all the time, what brushes do you use? Yeah. Constantly. Like, wow, what's the brush you're using? It's like, I don't know, like the Move and clay or something. Yeah, but what about this really custom crack brush where you can do this and it has like 2 features and you can make an automatic scar? And so, I don't know.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I like a scar brush, but
but it's not so much that. Like once, like we talked about when it came to the creature kit. So we released a video about that, like just sculpting from the creature kit. And the whole point of using the creature kit there is that, like we said in the video as well, it's not necessarily for beginners. I think beginners can still pick up the tool. Shilling our own product here.
You've got to do that.
It's more so like if a complete beginner picks up that tool, then the pure composition of the character, the silhouette, they're not really going to have as good of an understanding of it. So where they place it and how they design the character will just never look as good as someone who's experienced in doing character design.
You see this a lot when it comes to like texturing XYZ as well, which are awesome alphas and textures you can just apply onto your model, and it looks photorealistic if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see how good somebody is based on how close up these photos are, or the renders. If it's super close up, of course you can still be an amazing artist. Not saying that if you do close ups you're bad, but some people, they can't do anything but close ups because they only work close up. Because if you were to zoom out, you would see that nothing is working. The fundamental of the face is all broken.
I think one of the issues with people using something like texturing XYZ, and that's not on texturing XYZ, that's on the artist, is if you're doing something, you're doing texturing for face and you're using the maps from texturing XYZ, people have a tendency to do everything the same. Like everything, all the pores are the same size, it's the same, they're all the same depth, and you just end up with this like dull looking weird stuff for the skin that doesn't look realistic at all.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of assume that having awesome alphas and textures on top is a substitute for good anatomy skills.
Yeah, we've both worked with artists like that, where it's pretty clear that their core skills are what's lacking, but they try to hide it with alphas.
Yeah.
And like when you feedback that in the beginning, it can be tricky to figure out, okay, what exactly is wrong. And then you ask them to remove the alphas and all the details. You go, oh, okay, right. You skipped a step.
That's whatever we've been doing as well when we've been doing our sculpt or videos. We have a couple of videos now, like improving your sculpture. And the first thing we do, we just remove stuff. It's never about, we take a little move brush and we nudge it a little bit here and there. It's, let's go back to the core of it. Let's go back to the skeleton. If you don't have the skeleton right, you can't do proper sculpture.
No.
Because then nothing is going to work.
I think, I can't remember his name. Maybe you remember his name. It's a dude on, I think I saw him on Instagram. Anatomy guy. Something. Like super, super tight stuff with anatomy. And I remember, like, it was like an Instagram post from him talking about, okay, when he did something more specific, he would like he places the bones and like the muscles and stuff all on the inside so he can get, something that's as close to realism as possible. That's, to the nth degree, definitely. But it just shows you when you know the fundamentals, this is the kind of stuff that you can do.
Yeah, it's weird whenever you're starting with 3D because you think that, oh, cool, I learned Maya and I learned ZBrush and maybe Painter, and then I'm pretty good. No, you're pretty good at using the tools, but now you're starting to realize that, stuff doesn't look very good. You can't really figure out why it doesn't look as good. You're comparing your work to someone whose work is better than you. But I mean, the topology is the same. I mean, clearly your topologies and your UVs are the same. Textures, they look pretty similar, but it just doesn't look as good. And I'm very much speaking from experience here, where I just couldn't figure out what was wrong. And what's wrong is the other person has 5 years of sculptural knowledge. Yeah. And you can't just substitute that. And sometimes you're even looking at sculpts from traditional artists who's getting into ZBrush. And the sculpts, they look so damn good.
Yeah, like a week after they've opened ZBrush.
But they're very rough, and they're not very sharp. Like, they don't necessarily have any pores or any details. And you're looking at your stuff and being like, my stuff is way better than this because it has all this sharpness and details. But it's really not. And you can't figure out why. And it's fundamentals. Like,
I was working with an artist who like, he studied traditional sculpture for, I think, maybe 10 years or something like that. And so he switched over to ZBrush. And like, if you looked at it from just a pure technical perspective of his work in ZBrush, he wasn't very fast in ZBrush. And like, you would look at his workflow in ZBrush, you were like, oh yeah, you can do this, that would speed it up. And like, okay, thanks. But it didn't matter. Like, the vast knowledge that he had about like the human figure and anatomy, weight, shape, all that stuff just meant that he would make something even faster than you anyway, and it would look 10 times as good. And that's all down to fundamentals.
Yeah, it's like a tool can make you, like I said before, can get you a shitty result really quickly. But if you have good fundamentals, it's like, let's say you have an amazing painter and they're using MS Paint. Now they're going to still get an amazing result. It's just going to take them like 2 years.
Yeah.
But if you have Photoshop and you're a shitty painter, you're going to get a shitty result in like 2 hours. Yeah. But it's never going to look good.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're definitely not saying use paint for these kind of things, but if you gotta have a solid artistic foundation beforehand.
And I think the cool thing is that it's skills that never go away. Yes, you have to stay up to date with it. Like, you have to keep doing it, keep practicing it. It's kind of like I'm not really sure about the whole, like, you never forget how to ride a bike. Maybe if you don't do it for 70 years, maybe you will forget. But I feel like it's kind of in the same vein there, that you'll always have like some basic knowledge of it, and maybe you just need it to be refreshed if you haven't done it for a long time. But any fundamentals that you have, whether it be color theory or composition, shading, we talked about math as well. Like, if you're doing any kind of like hardcore Houdini stuff, that stuff never changes. Like, physics doesn't change. Hopefully. Anatomy hasn't changed for ever.
In the last 70,000 years, we haven't total modern humans, so we're pretty good.
Yeah, okay, maybe it changes like the smallest percent every single year, but, it's not measurable. The same thing with color and light being related to physics. The way that the sun's light hits the atmosphere at a certain time of day is always consistent. Yeah. So this is the kind of knowledge that you should definitely be focusing on, and not so much, okay, if I just buy this tool, whether it be a pencil or software or whatever, that'll make me a better artist, but actually focusing on the core of it.
And that's what we try to do in a lot of our tutorials as well. Some are more using a tool, because you need that.
Yeah.
And then some are more about the fundamentals. Like in our introduction to Painter, we have both. First part is, this is how you use the tool. Because honestly, you need that. You need just how do you use the tool. But the second part is all about learning how do you build up materials. And you could watch this course in 10 years. Yeah, the interface is going to be outdated, and we're going to be sculpting like painting with 16K maps on our iPad and all that kind of stuff. But you could still, the theory is just as applicable 10 years ago as it will be in 10 years. And we're really trying to get that across.
Yeah, if you're painting human skin like now, or if you're doing it in 10 years, human skin looks the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless some like crazy apocalypse happen and everyone mutates,
Yeah, exactly. And sure, the shader models might be different, but the core understanding of it, that you start with metal, then you have rust, then you have paint, that layering is still the same.
Yeah.
One thing as well, which we are pretty threatened by right now, is automation. We're already seeing this a lot in CG and VFX games, anything really.
Yeah.
Where first off, you're seeing the outsourcing happens, where you have tasks which are quite easy to do but time consuming, such as retopology. It's not very hard to do it, and if you do it in London or if you do it in India, the result is pretty much the same. And then what we're going to be seeing afterwards is that you get better tools, like Zero Meshing 3 is out, it looks way better. But the moment you get some kind of neural networks in this, you're not even going to need something like Zero Meshing. It's just going to be done automatically with the skill of a human. And now if you only know the tool and you're fighting against a machine which can do retopology way better than you.
Yeah.
Like, you are just in trouble. And this here isn't some kind of dystopian future vision. I mean, we're seeing this. Outsourcing is already a really big threat.
And like it's still a new industry, and outsourcing is already happening.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So if you can only use tools, then you are a craftsman, and the pure craft will be replaced by machines very, very quickly, and already has been not by machines, but by cheaper labor.
Like, you still, like an example I think was interesting is you still obviously have traditional sculptors who sculpt in marble. But what you also have is, like, you have those crazy 6-axis CNC machines that can just CNC stuff from a 3D print or like a 3D model in marble as well. Like, that stuff looks crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not saying that it's like that kind of automation that can happen, because, also very expensive, but outsourcing is just a real threat, I suppose, to the craft. But fundamentals keeps you more safe, at least for a while, until we have like crazy AIs.
Yeah, unless in 40 years where they can actually replicate human creativity. But that's one of the things as well. Like, human creativity is really going to be the last thing which is taken away. Like, they're not going to take away our character design jobs anytime soon.
No.
So if you can do character designs, or if you can art direct something and really have strong fundamentals there, then you're pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, the advantage you have there is that then you're not a tool, and then you won't become obsolete.
Exactly.
Like just having, it doesn't mean that you need to go to art school. It just means that you have to find the right teaching materials. Yeah. And there's plenty of that around. Like, we have, I don't know, close to 200 videos on this channel now, with a lot of it focused on fundamentals that I think people could benefit a lot from. And going through some of that and just starting to be aware of it, I think is like the first step. You don't need to master it within a month, because it's going to take years no matter what. But just being aware of the concepts are already going to be a huge help.
Yeah, we had a question recently which we addressed more in depth in our Q&A video. Should I learn 2D art before doing 3D art? And the answer there isn't yes. The answer there is you should learn fundamental art before learning 3D art. Or you don't even have to learn it beforehand. I kind of learned at the same time.
Yeah.
I never done traditional sculpting. I really despise doing traditional sculpting. All the wires, and you cut your fingers and you get dirty, and I don't like that. I'm more of a sit in front of a computer and sculpt kind of guy. But you can totally learn it just as well in ZBrush as you can with traditional sculpture, because it's just form. So you can do your studies there, and you can do your drawing exercises in Photoshop. I mean, you can really use that. It's not the medium. No. It's how you're doing it. Yeah,
and that's where I think it's the cool thing about being a traditional artist is that, yeah, of course, in the beginning you might be focused on the tool as well. Oh, do I have the right squeegee thing and like this like little thing for cutting the clay like this? Yeah, sure. But, that fades quickly, because you just need to be able to actually reproduce the figure. And to reproduce the figure, you just need good, solid fundamentals.
So I think this about sums up the video for now. To sum up our thoughts on this is that the fundamentals are universal. They're never going away.
No.
It's worth spending a lot of time on them, because they are going to be with you for your entire career, or if you're a hobbyist, for every single piece you're ever going to be doing. While the tools are ever changing. So if you rely on a tool, then all your techniques could be obsolete very soon with a software patch.
So make sure to stay tuned for part 2 in this series, where we talk about why the tool is the most important thing in your career.
Why everything we just said now is wrong, and
yes, that's going to be interesting. But thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the little bell button to turn on notifications so you get notified every time we put out a new video.
Thanks for watching.